You're listening to the Magnetic Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Calandra Martin, intuitive brand designer for spiritual entrepreneurs. The Magnetic Boss Podcast is where visionaries come together to openly share wisdom and authentic conversations. I know that you are ready to leave your legacy in the world and become sought out in your industry. I also know that you are sick and tired of getting overlooked. You're ready to have a magnetic business. I'm here to help you create your magnetic brand. It's my mission to help you show up confidently with a professional, irresistible online presence. If you're in this for the long game and all in on the big vision you have for your business, let's dive in. Jenn, I'm so happy to have you back on the podcast. It's been a hot minute, but I'm super excited for our conversation today. Before I introduce you and jump into our convo, I also want to preface this episode by saying that I have little Miss Natalie here with me, and she just woke up from a nap, and she's going to be babbling and maybe screeching and making noises in this episode. So I'll keep myself as muted as possible. Okay, Jenn, welcome. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we're going to jump right into all things human design.
Wonderful. I am so excited to chat with you today. So hello, everyone. I am Jennifer Greiner. I am a licensed clinical professional counselor and art therapist, as well as human design coach. So what I do is I help individuals align to their purpose and step into their power through utilizing human design so that you can find ease in decision making, in living life, in just aligning with your true purpose here in this lifetime. So I'm so excited to chat all things human design today.
I'm so excited. I feel like you and I are always connecting about various things with human design, and that overlaps into personal life and business, and you are just such a wealth of knowledge and also such a great guidance system specifically for me in my business. So I'm excited to share this on the podcast with everyone listening. We have done an episode in the past about human design and some of the basics, but will you, for anybody that's listening for the first time or has no idea what human design even is, can you just share with us a quick recap of what it is and what the human design types are?
Absolutely. So the human design system has been around since the late 80s. And what human design is, I like to think of it as a blueprint of your energy mechanics, how they work internally. But human design itself is a combination of ancient and modern practices, including astrology, chakra systems, the Kabbalah, tree of life, I Ching, which is ancient Chinese philosophy, as well as quantum physics. So it really shows us our conscious and unconscious. I also, having been a mental health counselor doing assessments for over 10 years, I like to think of human design as the best personality assessment out there as well. It really helps us understand ourselves. So within human design, we have 5 energy types, and we're going to be talking about those energy types today. So starting off with the energy type that you are, Calandra, which is a manifesting generator. So that is a combination of generator and manifester. In my mind, manifesting generators create magic unlike any other. They have the manifester quality of initiating and then the generator quality of energy to see things through and being the doers. Then we have the generator. So pure generators are here as the doers. They have access to sacral energy that gives them this life force to do and complete anything that lights them up. Then we have manifestors, and manifestors are non-sacral beings. We'll talk more about this in terms of sacral beings, generators, and manifesting generators, and then non-sacral beings, these manifestors, and then we'll get to projectors and reflectors. So manifestors are here to initiate, to get things started, to share and create things that have never been created before. And then we have projectors. I myself am a projector, and the projectors are here as the seers, as the guides to let people know that there's an easier, more efficient way of doing things, as well as just kind of seeing in a different way to be able to guide people. And then lastly, we have reflectors, and reflectors are less than 1%. So they are rare and they are very unique as they are completely open and undefined. So the reflectors are really here to sense the environment and really experience life, absorbing energy and reflecting it back. They're really here to be that mirror, to be that reflection.
Awesome. I love all of those design type, like quick overcaps, because when I first found human design and I read my chart and I found out that I was a mini Jenn, it kind of blew my mind. And I like the accuracy of it right away was crazy to me. And so for anybody that hasn't looked up their human design chart yet, that's kind of the first step. If you're listening to this episode, go figure out what your human design type is, because that's going to help you with this conversation. But I wanted to have you on the podcast today, Jenn, to talk a little bit about how human design can play into business for creatives, for people that are running businesses and also managing their lives, have busy seasons in their lives, and how we can use our human design for energy management. I know that this is like your area of expertise.
Yes, I love talking about this so much. And it's so timely because I just did mini readings for my own business coaches. And it was really cool after knowing them and working with them to actually see their design and be like, oh my goodness, like you're living your design in business. You've already found these boundaries. You're already managing your energy this way. So that's one of the coolest pieces for me, to see how people find alignment to their design kind of innately and intuitively.
Yeah, so you just said that they were living in their design. Can you kind of like elaborate on what that actually means for somebody that doesn't even know what that might entail?
Yes, I use the term alignment all the time, and I forget that that's not a common household word yet. So, what it means to live in alignment is following your strategy and authority. And really, through doing that, life gets to be easy. You get to live a life of satisfaction, of peace, of success and delight, depending on your type. Those are your self themes that let you know you're doing things right. So that's where things just really fall into place. Easily manifested, abundance in all the ways. So to come back to the words that I just said before, the strategy and authority. So each type has a strategy. Generators and mani-gens, your strategy is to respond to anything and everything, yourself, energy, all of that. Manifestors, their strategy is to inform, let people know what you're going to do before you go initiate things. And mani-gens too have that manifestor quality. Projectors, for us, it is waiting for recognition, making sure that we are recognized and invited so that it is then worth putting our energy into guiding those people. And then lastly, reflectors, their strategy is to wait a lunar cycle, wait 28 days, wait for the answers to reveal themselves to you, but you are lunar beings, so it's really important to work with the moon and wait that whole moon phase to know that it is a right decision, and that it's aligned. And then authority, when you get your free human design chart, which you just said, go find it, go get it, save it on your phone, because you'll want to look at it a lot, because you're going to get hooked and obsessed. Your authority is how you're meant to make decisions, and that's based on your design. And there are 7 different authorities, so we won't dive into those, but it's really good to know how you are meant to make decisions so that you can follow that authority as well as your strategy.
Yeah, that's super helpful. I think that the strategy is such a good starting point. And that's something that I have to remind myself of all of the time in business in particular. And as you know, because you work so closely with me in business, as a Manny Jen, I get all of these ideas really quickly at a rapid pace. And so it's always coming back to knowing when to respond. And for me, it's like that yes or no. And also waiting to respond. That's something that you're constantly telling me to do, is like, sleep on it, wait to jump in, because that may not be in alignment. And the more that I've practiced that, the easier it's become to know yes or no, this is the right direction to go in or run with. So going back to
Yeah.
energy management, can we talk a little bit about what energy management can look like for the different design types?
Yeah. So when it comes to energy management, I really like to separate, as I mentioned before, the sacral beings, generators and manigens, from the non-sacral beings. So what sacral, it's one of the centers, especially if you're familiar with chakras, very similar. It's the sacral center in human design, which is responsible for life force energy. It also connects to the bodily function of sex organs, but this is for sacral beings, for generators and manigens. This means that you have fixed reliable access to that energy. You know how much you can do. This is a slow burning candle that when something lights you up, when you've checked in with your authority and you know that this is right for you, you're going to have all of the energy to see it through to completion. If it's not aligned for you, you might fall into a little bit of burnout. It might kind of be more of an energy suck than aligned and fulfill you. And very similar for non-sacral beings. So non-sacral beings, projectors, manifestors, reflectors, we don't have that fixed, reliable access to that sacral energy. We can absorb it from other people. I mean, you know, Calandra, that's one reason why I love working with you, because I just need to vox you real quick to get some access to your sacral energy to absorb it. And then I have energy to do what I need to do. So it's really cool when it works like that. But I have to be really careful about where I focus my energy, because I can be more prone to burnout because I don't know when enough is enough. I need to learn that. And gosh, being a 3-5 profile, I have had to learn that the hard way. I lived life and years of burnout in my business, in my personal life, in order to understand. And gosh, human design sheds so much light on this, to understand why I was burning out, because I was overdoing. I was priding myself on working 12 hours a day when projectors really are only supposed to work about 4 hours a day. So it really, that's a easy place to start looking at your sacral and your type. Do you have fixed, reliable access to this energy or not?
Yeah, I think that it's super important to highlight the experience that you went through of like overworking, because that's just the societal norm. Whether it's in business or in your 9 to 5, like we have this expectation of ourselves to go, go, go and do, when sometimes we need to be able to slow down. And I find that true even as a sacral, because I can ping pong that energy around so much with all of the ideas. And if I get wrapped up in that, I'm not in alignment with my human design, then it's very quickly like distraction after distraction after distraction. And that can lead to burnout too.
Absolutely. When we have more energy leaks, when we're leaking our energy to things that aren't aligned for us, that don't light us up, or aren't a yes based on our authority, they're going to take energy from us. And it can be as severe, as extreme as an energy suck. I have a lot of clients that are in unaligned corporate jobs, especially projectors, and I just see these jobs suck the energy out of them, suck the life out of them, and really consume them into their not self theme, which is really hard. And a lot of times can result in anxiety, depression, all these other issues that tend to pop up when we're not living in alignment.
Yeah, I think that it's so important, like knowing your human design and knowing how you can work with that to make your life easier. And instead of feeling like you're pushing water uphill or forcing something when it doesn't need to be that hard.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest pieces that I say to people in every single reading and every single client session that I do is, you get to live a life of ease. if you feel like you have been struggling, you have been pushing that ball uphill over and over and over, there is an easier way of doing things for you. It's just unique and specific to you. And that was something that fed into my burnout in business years ago, was that I was working with coaches who were generators and Manny Gens, and they were telling me to do their way, which I thought, oh, if I just, have A, B, and C to do, and I do these things, then I'm going to find my success. And no, no, I found burnout because that was not my way of doing things. So there is this unique blueprint that we each possess that holds these answers of how we can create a life of ease. And it's not easy. I mean, you're still pushing that ball uphill,
Oh yeah.
but you're going to get to the top quicker, and you're going to be able to plateau. You're going to find ease. You're going to build new skills, new mindset, new understanding of your design that's going to lead to managing your energy.
Yeah, I think a big thing here is just like the awareness, like having the awareness of the patterns that you're putting yourself in, having your awareness around your energy management and what boundaries you're enforcing or need to create. Because the more you're intentional with that and know your human design and how that can work for you, the easier it is to even just notice, like, oh, I'm repeating a pattern here. Maybe I can shift that.
Yeah, and for 10 years, I have been talking about the first step is awareness. This is what I have been telling all of my mental health clients. This is what I tell all of my coaching clients. We need to have the awareness. And knowing your human design helps bring that to awareness. But then, we won't dive into this, but there's a whole aspect of deconditioning that we still need to decondition. So it just helps bring awareness to how we need to decondition. In human design, it takes 7 years to decondition. So this is not something that's going to happen overnight. But as you build this awareness and the awareness of your needs too, that's the other piece that I talk with clients so much is, what do you need? What do you need to manage your energy? What do you need to have an outlet of your energy? What do you need to fill your cup? What boundaries do you need? All these other aspects that allow you to bring all of this into the awareness and practice. It's a big experiment. That's why human design gets to be so fun.
Yeah, I love the reframing of that as an experiment, and I found that this is so unique to each person. Like for me, with my energy management being a Manny Gen, I know now that instead of just like hitting pause when I'm feeling overwhelmed, it's actually more beneficial for me to pour into some sort of creative project or hobby that really lights me up, because that's what sparks that energy again and pulls me out of burnout. So that might be, doing a creative project in Canva just for the fun of it, even though it's not necessarily aligned with maybe something I'm launching or a client project. That helps spark that creativity again. Or gardening and tending to my house plants. Like those are fun things that I am like, hell yes, I want to do that. And that's what rest can look like for me, even though to somebody else it might look like work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so helpful to know that, yes, I'm a projector and a non-sacral, but I have 3 out of 4 motor centers. So I have a lot of energy. And if I don't output that energy in a way that works for me, which I found is physical activity, especially in nature, then that energy just sits in my body and festers, and it's almost like I'm burning myself out, and then I get consumed in my not self theme of bitterness, and it really just doesn't lead to anything productive.
Yeah, will you touch on the not self themes real quick? Because I think that that's such an interesting thing to incorporate when it comes to energy management.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because I sometimes say these things and don't outline them. But I think of the self and not self themes, which are unique to each type, as a gauge of if you're living in alignment or not. So the not self themes are kind of like red flags. Are you following your strategy? Are you following your authority? Are you finding alignment? Are you aware of these things? So those not self themes for generators and Manny Gens is frustration. So being aware of when you're feeling frustrated, checking in and seeing how you can do things differently. For manifestors, it's anger. And I always say this to manifestors, but it really applies to everyone that when you fall into this not self theme, for manifestors, anger, it's not, oh my gosh, I can't feel this. Let me push it aside. It's why am I feeling this? What is in this? There's so much to learn from these not self theme emotions to gain wisdom on how to stay in your self theme. So for projectors, the not self theme is bitterness. People talk a little bit about it in terms of resentment, just because in society we don't talk a lot about bitterness. But it is that bitter feeling. Sometimes it comes with a bitter taste. And then for reflectors, the not self theme is disappointment. So really getting to know those and understand what they feel like for you, because emotions can feel different for everyone. And then to go into the self theme. So this is when you are living in alignment. This is how life gets to be. For generators and Manny Gens, it's satisfaction. And so many of the clients that I work with who are generators and Manny Gens don't know what satisfaction actually feels like for them. So this is a place to grow that awareness in what it feels like. For manifestors, the self theme is peace. For projectors, it's success. Again, defining your own success, what that feels like for you. And for reflectors, it is surprise and delight.
That's so fun. I love that there's such a interesting contrast between the not self and the self theme, and how we can really, again, like raise awareness around those things and be really intentional of noticing our emotions. Because especially for business owners, we get so wrapped up in the to-do lists and the all the balls in the air at all times, managing clients, managing back end, managing, bookkeeping, and like all the things that we take care of, that sometimes we don't pay attention to our emotions in business. And I think that the more we can do that, the easier we'll have a compass for which direction to go in next.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I want to plug in here is that human design, while some of it is black and white, it's all actually a spectrum. So don't think that, for all the generators out there, when you are aware of frustration, you start responding and checking in with your authority, you're, ultimately going to be right into satisfaction. Sometimes it takes a little while, and you have to move along the spectrum from frustration towards satisfaction in order to find that alignment.
Yeah, that's super important. And I think for anybody listening that's looking for like a quick fix, human design is not the quick fix. It is going to be like that continuous process. And I'm learning that over and over and over again, just knowing my human design. I'm constantly boxing you, Jen, and being like, okay, this is happening. How is this going to work with my chart? Like, what can we do here?
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, it's just that awareness, is keeping it in your awareness and practicing, experimenting with it. What feels good? What doesn't feel good?
Yeah, this is actually a great pathway to the next part of the conversation that I wanted to have with you, and that is around boundaries, because we all know that like energy management goes hand in hand with boundaries. What can that look like both in business and just like for each human design type?
Yeah. So when it comes to boundaries in human design, it's all about the heart center, the ego. It's the smallest little triangle in the body graph. So only about 35% of people have a defined heart, have a fixed, reliable access to willpower, which gives them the ability to create those boundaries. So the other 65% of the world struggles with boundaries. And I know, Calandra, you and I have talked about this, because I have a defined heart and you have an undefined heart.
Yes.
With that undefined heart, yours is completely open too. So you have this extra dimension to it. But you, along with the 65%, feel like there's something to prove. It's really hard to have those boundaries when you're feeling like you have to prove yourself. You have to put more effort, more energy into things in order to prove your worth, which I hope it's safe to say we all know is BS. Like, you are worthy, you have nothing to prove. But it can be really challenging for that 65% to create boundaries, to say no to things that aren't aligned, to say no to the things that they don't have the energy for or don't light them up. So it is so important for us to cultivate healthy boundaries personally for ourselves, as well as interpersonally and within our business, so that we can be at, our highest quality when it comes to interacting with the world.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you highlighted that because as you know, I struggle with boundaries so much because I am, that open heart center and a people pleaser and really want to do a good job with everything that I'm working on. And that can sometimes look like overgiving and really like throwing myself out of alignment in a lot of ways. So that's something that you've been so helpful with for me in my business, is like understanding one, like it's okay and important to have boundaries, and two, here's how we can like communicate those and process those in a way that's going to be beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, and I love that human design really gives us a language for energy, because it can help us say, I don't have the energy for that right now. Or for generator Manny Jen, that isn't feeling like it lights me up. I'm going to have to say no to that, or let me get back to you on that. So having this language, for myself with a defined heart and an undefined sacral, something that I say to myself a lot is, that is not worth my energy. I have a limited bit of energy. I'm able to check in with my heart to say, is this worth it? And to know if it is or not. If it is, okay. If it's not, I likely need to place a boundary there. And especially for projectors too, over the years, I've really come into boundaries around who is in my inner circle. Of course, I have a larger community, but within my inner circle, I need to make sure that every person recognizes me, my energy, who I am, the qualities that I bring. Because if I don't receive that recognition as my strategy as a projector, it is going to be an energy suck. It's pretty much a guarantee.
Yeah, something that I'm taking away from this is that human design really helps you get to know yourself on like a whole new level, on so many different levels and layers. And because of that, this conversation is turning into a series. So if you're loving what we're talking about today, just stay tuned because Jen's going to come back. We're going to talk about team and business and so many other things. It's going to be amazing. Is there anything that you can share to kind of wrap up energy management and boundaries and what that might look like as a starting point to start incorporating exploring human design in your business and personal life for anyone listening?
Yeah, so I think, as we've said, it's as simple as getting your free chart online. Personally, I like to get the charts from myhumandesign.com. Jenna Zoe does a great job of kind of describing each of the pieces. There's so much info on Google now that you can just Google whatever topic, word, along with human design and find that answer. But I think going back to what we said about human design not being a quick fix, the immediate benefit that you will receive from getting your human design and looking into it will be permission being yourself. You will feel more seen than you ever have before. So just having that, along with the awareness of your type, your strategy, and your authority, what we've kind of been talking about today, is to bring that awareness and just start experimenting with it in your personal and business life.
Yeah, I love that so much. I think that we have so much knowledge and information at our fingertips. I also know, like, firsthand that human design can feel a bit overwhelming. And there are so many things and unknowns. And without somebody who really knows human design kind of in your back pocket, it can feel cumbersome and maybe like so overwhelming that you don't want to get started. So for that person who is thinking, okay, great, I know what my human design type is. Now what? How can they get connected with you and dive into this process with you?
Yeah, so I hang out on Instagram. So come over to Instagram, follow me at the Vital Jen, and DM me, check out my posts, all of my content, and let me know what questions you have. You can also check out my website, Divine Vitality with Jenn. That's Jen with 2 N's.com. And you can see all that I have to offer there. The one piece that I would say is kind of like the starter, and to learn more and really understand and leave with tangible pieces would be the mini human design reading. And that's 30 minutes where you really get to understand your design. We can really do basics, or we can dive into deeper parts. We can focus on personal life, relationships, business, really kind of wherever you're at. It's a great opener that's not overwhelming since it's the limited time, but I just really, really love offering those. They're so much fun for me. I love seeing the clients have permission to be themselves, feel so understood. And what I've been seeing more so lately is the week afterwards, they have so many aha moments. Things start clicking, and then they're able to, kind of go where they need to with human design. Sometimes that being coming back for one-on-one coaching.
Yeah, I absolutely love the mini readings. I'm always sending you people to go sign up for those mini readings because they're so powerful and such a great like momentum builder and confidence builder for somebody who really wants to explore this and explore how that can support them. I'm going to put all of your links in the show notes. So if you are listening to this episode and you want to get connected with Jenn, check out the show notes and go visit her website. But I just want to say thank you, Jenn, because this is such a good conversation. I feel like we could talk. I know we could talk for hours about this. So like I said before, stay tuned for part 2 of this series. And I'm so grateful to have you here.
So great to be here. I love chatting about human design and just spreading the word about it. So I can't wait to help more people find alignment and ease through human design.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe wherever you are listening so you never miss a beat. For episode show notes, visit calandramartin.com/podcast. Your iTunes reviews and your sharing of the show helps us reach more magnetic bosses just like you. Until next time.